Still millions of people in the United States that are still suffering from the coronavirus, COVID-19 financial meltdown. There are still millions of people who have unresolved mortgage issues, people that took on forbearances and could not come out of them and cannot afford their mortgages. We're dealing with that with one situation that is pretty hard to explain to a lot of people, but we're going to try to do that today. There's some good news and some bad news about the big government program that the government launched about a year ago that's going to help, it's supposed to help all those people who cannot get any other government assistance. This is the program. It's called HALF. Now, I'm going to explain the good and the bad news to you in about 5 seconds.
On my show, let it run. I worship the brown you're on. Now that you're gone.
So here's the situation. About a year ago, the government passed this huge $10 billion law that basically gave hundreds of millions of dollars to the states to then distribute to homeowners who need it for different things relating to their homes, specifically for people who could not become current with their mortgages after taking forbearances because of the coronavirus. Now, the problem is that a lot of people are still confused about this program, even though it's been around for a little bit. Now, the really good news is that according to this beautiful map that we're showing at the website that I'm showing at the bottom of the screen, you can see that a good percentage, I'd say about half or more of the states have open programs now. That wasn't the case a year ago or a few months ago in 2021, but it is the case now. If you haven't signed up for these HALF program notifications, or if you haven't applied, the time to do that is right now, because in some point that money is going to run out, and when it runs out, you're not going to get anything. Now, the big question is, are you eligible? Now, we're going to focus on the first thing here, the hardship statement. That's the big thing. A lot of people don't understand if they're eligible or not. There are also income and other eligibility issues, but we're not going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about the hardship. In order for you to get any money from the HALF program, you have to have a hardship, and the hardship has to be something that the government recognizes. Now, the government basically says that you have to have a hardship, either a loss of income or an increase of expenses due to the coronavirus. The loss of income is pretty easy to explain. The increase in expenses usually means because you have medical issues and you're needing to have more assistance in order to come up with the money to pay for those medical assistance, for those medical expenses. Now, the issue is the date. If you notice here, I wrote a date, January 21st, 2020. That's the magic date. You have to have a hardship that that postdates, meaning that it's after January 21st, 2020, in order to automatically qualify for HALF, which means if you lost your job or something happened after that date, then you would qualify. Now, the other thing is that the law says that you could have a hardship that predates January 21st, 2020, meaning that somehow happened before this date and continued on past the magic date of January 21st, 2020, and you possibly qualify. So let's talk about that. January 21st, 2021. Now, let's say that after that date, you lost your job or your business closed. That's very unfortunate for you. I understand it's caused tremendous stress for you and your family. However, for the HALF program, you would qualify and you would be good. You're good because you have passed the January 21st, 2020 deadline. Now, let's say that you lost your job before January 21st, 2020, and all of a sudden you haven't been able to rebound from that time because of a million different reasons. Now, the way to explain this in your hardship statement basically is you need to show them that you tried to get a job, or you at least write that, and you need to verify that through your bank statements, that you tried to get a job, you couldn't get a job, and therefore the hardship continued past January 21st, 2020, therefore you would qualify for HALF. Now, the big thing, and there's a big but here, and that's the problem. The big but in this situation is that even if you qualify, even if you have the eligibility income, the eligible income and your hardship is good enough for them, meaning that it's you have a loss of income or you have an increase of expenses, there is a huge but, and it's something that I did not see coming, but I'm hearing directly from people who are applying for HALF, and this is causing problems for them. There is a limit to the amount of money that the government will give you, which doesn't sound like a big deal. However, let's say that you're in Florida. Florida is $50,000. That means that if you get your hardship requires a payment of more than $50,000, Florida will not give you any money. The hardship has to be cured by half, meaning that if you owe your mortgage company $60,000, you get nothing. That is a big deal. It doesn't get you any closer. So you're gonna need to save money and have money to get you to the point where that $50,000 in Florida, California it's $80,000, different states have different limits, for them to then give you or give this the government, the mortgage company the money. That is a big deal because a lot of people have been in forbearance for over 2 years or coming on to 2 years. If you have been in forbearance for 2 years, it is very possible that the amount of money you owe the government is, the amount of money you owe your bank is over the limit of half. What happens there? Basically, unfortunately, and I put it here, I didn't get to it, according to HALF, you are SOL. That means that you probably will not get any HALF money. So you're gonna have to go back to your lender and ask for another loan modification or some sort of other workout. There's also a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, which is another way to catch up on late payments. And there's things you can do when you use HALF and the Chapter 13 bankruptcy to maybe get you there. However, you're going to be denied if your hardship is greater than the amount of money that the state is willing to give you. That is a big, big deal. A lot of people are going to get stung by this because the assumption was, well, we'll give you this money and then you owe a little bit and maybe you can work out something. It doesn't work like that. You need to have the workout done before. That's a really big deal. So if you're having these problems, you need to deal directly with your lender right now. Talk to them, make sure you're applying for anything that they might offer you because you're gonna need all the help you can if it says no and the lender says no initially. That's all we got for now. Thanks.
On my shelf, let it run. I worship the brown you're on.